want the nightmares to end. I can't sleep at night. I close my eyes and all I see is just the water taking us.
Oh my goodness, flood anguish as people in Texas struggle to clean up what high waters have already done, all the while bracing for the possibility of more ahead, where rain is falling right now and how little could bring more flood troubles. And we'll let you know who's at greatest risk.
And take a look at this. Would you know what to do? Well, dangerous, disastrous flooding invades homes and basically ruining lives across the plains into Texas. We're breaking down this amazing video for you. Our in-depth expert field coverage starts right now on Weather Center Live.
Thank you so much for joining us for Weather Center Live. I'm Vivian Brown.
And I'm Paul Goodlow. Well, more than 2.5 inches of rain for some parts of Fort Worth, Texas.
And this is what happens. I'll tell you what, water up to the wheel wells of some cars in the Fort Worth area. Not a good idea now to drive through that. I mean, come on, you could ruin your car.
Now, this is now the third wettest May on record for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I want to take you to the lab right now where storm specialist Dr. Rick Boesel is analyzing the current situation and the risk for more rain and more flooding across Texas and the plains.
I know, guys. You know what? It's going to happen in the same places that have seen so much rain lately. Let's have a look at the satellite pictures, and I'll tell you where that is. It's in the heartland of America, the southern plains. More storms, more rain, probably more flooding and severe weather across parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and maybe even Kansas as well. Here's a water vapor imagery recently in the last few hours. You can sort of see this is where the big storms are ongoing right now, moving into Arkansas. In fact, we have a severe thunderstorm warning out until 12:45 p.m. Central Time for Howard County in Arkansas and Sevier County as well. And a new one just came out for Cochran County, Texas, Hockley and Lamb County in Texas as well, also until 12:45 p.m. Central Time. So those are some severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing now. And you can see why it might be the case again in the Central Plains, because we've got this big, huge upper level trough out there that is continuing to lift the atmosphere pretty effectively over a humid air mass. And that upper level dip in the jet stream is allowing a lot of moisture to surge northward from the Gulf of Mexico. Very high water content values continue to be pulled northward, essentially from the tropics or subtropics into this area of the plains. And so when you get that flow coming around like that, that is allowing the atmosphere to get a little bit more unstable than it would otherwise. And with the sun coming out behind the early storms today, this is where we think the most instability is going to be. In other words, the most buoyant energy for the thunderstorms, for them to grow really tall and big. That area shaded in yellow is where we think the instability will be the greatest later on this afternoon. And there'll be enough wind energy aloft to allow some of those thunderstorms to rotate. So we'll see supercells and the possibility of a tornado or two with strong westerly winds coming around the base of that trough. There's a little upper level swirly that you can kind of see in the satellite pictures. It's right in here. It's a little guy inside of the bigger trough that is going to be migrating out across the plains and initiating new thunderstorm development during the next several hours. So that is something to watch. And that is what the radar, future radar, is telling us is going to happen. Watch the new development beginning late this afternoon across parts of Oklahoma and back in Texas. These thunderstorms could be severe. High winds, a primary culprit or a primary risk with these, as is large hail, but maybe even a tornado too, especially with the more isolated storms that form out perhaps out ahead of these lines across Texas and southern Oklahoma. But notice this kind of turns into a squall line, a line of thunderstorms later on this evening with probably a high wind threat rolling across the state of Texas like we've seen in the last few nights. So watch out in Dallas, Abilene, and everywhere in between. This could be a stormy night to contend with across that region. But the good news, looking beyond that toward the pattern next week, if you look at the jet stream shape, it's going to look a lot different, we think, in the next 1 to 2 weeks, with at least a little bit of what's called ridging across the southern plains. You see that? Look, kind of like a ridge in the jet stream. That will hopefully dry things out. probably will, and lead to at least a respite, a period of drying conditions in the area that has been so devastated by all these rains. So that's good news on the horizon, but we've got to make it through these stormy times in order to get there, guys. So hopefully it won't be too bad tonight, but stay tuned to the Weather Channel. Of course, we'll have all the latest with those storms moving through. And right now, I'm going to send it back to Paul and Viv in the studio.
All right, thanks very much, Dr. Postel. Ridging, I love that word because that means it's drying out across the southern plains eventually. But let's see what's going on over the northeast because we still have unsettled weather here. The Storm Prediction Center has just issued this severe thunderstorm watch. It's a severe thunderstorm watch, not a tornado watch, but the big threat, hailstones, high winds. Notice New York City included in this severe thunderstorm watch. So are you, Boston, the Hartford area up to Providence in Rhode Island, and even as far north, well, not Providence actually, but New Hampshire in the severe thunderstorm watch, Bangor and Portland, Maine, all again in the severe thunderstorm watch until 7 o'clock local time. So here's a look at your specific hour-by-hour forecast, New York City. We think within the next couple of hours, those thunderstorms will really start to ramp up for you and continue for several hours. The atmosphere will remain pretty unstable, so we'll be watching your radar pretty much for the rest of the evening. In fact, here's a look at the future radar, which does show the storms we think as we go through the next couple of hours. They'll start to kind of line up right now, perhaps starting off as individual thunderstorms, but again, they could connect and kind of form a line as they move closer again to the New York City area, much of northern New Jersey here. Continue to push offshore overnight tonight, and tomorrow promises to be much better across a good part of the Northeast. But until then, again, for the rest of the day, certainly the afternoon and evening hours, we will have the radar turned on high gear, watching for the possibility of those storms. Now, some good news can come out of this. In fact, we are still dealing with kind of a moderate drought across this region, so any additional rain that falls will be some good soaking rains that's needed for the ground here over the Northeast, maybe up to an inch, maybe 2 inches in some localized rain gauges across this region. So, of course, we'll be here to keep you updated on the rainfall totals as well. Back to you, Paul.
Well, even with those storms pushing across the Northeast, Texas just cannot seem to catch a break from wild weather. Check this out. At least one tornado struck a natural gas drilling rig along the Texas Panhandle, injuring 3 workers. The tornado struck around 4:30 Wednesday afternoon just north of the town of Canadian. Hemphill County Sheriff's Office says a work shack on the rig floor was damaged. 2 people were taken to the hospital.
Every backyard comes together around a grill and Kingsford charcoal. Gather round.
Oh, this audit will take days. What a headache.
Actually, I don't have a headache anymore. Excedrin really does work fast.
In fact, for some, relief starts in just 15 minutes. Excedrin.
Wow, that was fast.
No artificial flavors, colors, sweeteners, preservatives, and no artificial smiles. Because clean dressings taste better.
Once upon a time, there was a nice house that lived with a family. One day, it started to rain and rain. Water got inside and ruined everybody's everythings. The house thought she let the family down. But the family just didn't think a flood could ever happen.
The reality is, floods do happen. Protect what matters. Call 888-RAIN-973 or visit floodsmart.gov/ready to learn more.
Glad you're with us right here on AMHQ. The whole team.
Right? Either go all in or just tap out.
Here we go. I told you, we're going to bust out of this drought.
As we say, keep watching with us this morning because we're all watching history happen together.
today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds, low 74. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Friday, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. High 85. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weather Channel's most watched original program,
and it just hit us,
is back.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
Introducing the new Can-Am Spyder F3 with a cruising riding position and the most advanced vehicle stability system in the industry. You'll ride with a feeling of complete freedom and confidence. Visit your Can-Am dealer and test drive the Spyder F3 today.
Let's do this. Let's move outdoors for the next few months. Let's build a kitchen under the clouds. A dining room with no walls, no ceiling. Let's put it all together. Then, let's get together. A lot. Let's do this. Home Defense ready to use or 10 pounds Bug Be Gone granules, just $6.88. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Need new tires? Right now at Pep Boys, when you get 3 Falcon, Cooper, or Hankook tires, you get the 4th tire free instantly. Plus, get no interest and paid in full within 12 months on your Pep Boys credit card. Trust the boys to get you there.
What makes Lay's Kitchen different from the rest? We pride ourselves on bold, authentic flavors with the finest ingredients. The satisfying crunch and rich flavors of Lay's kettle-cooked chips. One taste and you're in love.
All right, we want to update you on what's happening right now. We'll begin with the water vapor imagery to basically show you the moisture available in the atmosphere. And most of the moisture is right in here. A little glob of moisture moving across the middle of the country. But this is kind of enhancing some of the destabilizers that we have. And eventually, this will translate to some thunderstorms that could eventually pop up. Let's take you to Mobile, Alabama, because as we look at the hourly forecast for you, look at the thunderstorms that very well could start developing within the next hour for sure, and that could linger right on into the deeper heart of the afternoon. So Mobile will continue to monitor your radar, and we're noticing some thunder showers that'll be breaking out across parts of northern Alabama, eventually maybe into northern Georgia, Atlanta. We will keep your radar turned on as well, as you can see later this afternoon, kind of pinpointing much of northern and central Georgia with some of the thunder showers. So definitely keeping our eye closely turned to northern Georgia and even the central and northern parts of Alabama as we progress deeper into the afternoon hours. So we'll keep you updated on the happenings on the radar scan throughout the day. Paul?
Well, we now know at least 23 people are dead, 9 still missing after the storms that ravaged Texas and Oklahoma. Now, the search for survivors continues in the Texas Hill Country. The overwhelming work to clear away debris after these historic floods has also started. Jay Gray has more now from Wimberley. That's one of the hardest hit areas by the storms in Texas.
As the water slowly recedes, rescue and recovery teams continue to rush in.
We are still in search and rescue mode. We are still looking for viable victims.
From the air and on the ground, working through the devastation and debris that stretches for miles along the Blanco River.
We have thousands of homes that are damaged, some totally lost.
There was a big armoire that had white silver in it.
Jerry Fields lived in one of those homes.
Bar stools in there.
Now it's all gone.
Every bit of this washed away.
Areas in Houston have been washed away as well. Others turned into islands, cut off by the floodwaters that have crippled parts of the nation's 4th largest city.
You see the homes and lives and dreams of Houstonians crushed, literally, by the power of the water.
Back in Central Texas, they understand that power and the pain and loss it can bring.
Is it heartbreaking? Absolutely. Is it devastating? Absolutely.
But there is one thing that lingers in this mess, one thing the floodwaters couldn't wash away: the spirit and will of survivors here.
You just got to pick up one stick at a time and move forward, and that's all you can do.
A daunting task for a community pushed past its limits by the storms. Jay Gray, NBC News, Wimberley, Texas.
Let's talk more about all the rain that Texas has seen. The good news is it's really done a decent dent to the drought here. Look at these numbers here. Wettest rain on record for Oklahoma City, over 19 inches there. Austin, over 16, almost 17 inches. And we still have about 4 or 5 days left, 3 days now in the month of May.
And at least for the next couple of days, we're talking about additional rain on these areas. Again, that will lead to flooding problems that we've already dealt with, just exacerbating the problems. Look at Oklahoma City. Now, the wettest month on record so far. We've had over 19 inches in the Oklahoma City area. The previous record was only 14.5 inches, Paul.
It's not just Oklahoma and Texas. Check out Fort Smith, Arkansas. So far this month, over 18 1/3 inches of rain. That beats the old record. We're talking that's a 70-year-old record here, June of 1945, of 15 inches. Again, this is setting records, but I also mentioned it's really done a number on the drought. Check out the drought as of April. Still lots of reds and oranges here. Those are some of the exceptional and most severe areas of drought.
Yeah, but we talk about truly an example of going from drought to deluge, because right now, I mean, even though we've pretty much eradicated the drought in some cases, we're dealing with flooding in others.
Yeah, kind of the deadly aftermath as well.
Yeah.
Well, much more on today's severe weather threat, including for New York City. It's coming up as Weather Center Live continues.
With the guts to stand apart. Join a league all their own.
You know the importance of heart health. You watch your diet, exercise, and may take an omega-3 supplement such as fish oil. But when it comes to omega-3s, it's the EPA and DHA that really matter for heart health. Not all omega-3 supplements are the same. Introducing Bayer Pro Ultra Omega-3 from the heart health experts at Bayer, with 2 times the concentration of EPA and DHA as the leading omega-3 supplement. Plus, it's the only brand with Progel technology, proven to reduce fish burps. New Bayer Pro Ultra Omega-3.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
When it comes to food, pets know what they want, and so do we. That's why you'll find simple, natural ingredients like real meat and wholesome veggies in delicious Rachael Ray Nutrish recipes with no fillers or byproducts. And Rachel's personal proceeds from Nutrish help shelter pets everywhere.
Guys, I said I'd be back.
Give your pets the food they would make for themselves, if they could. Rachael Ray Nutrish. Real recipes, real ingredients, real good.
Time to sweat, boys. Big time. Let's get this thing right.
I have made fire!
Fat Guys in the Woods. The new season starts June 7th, only on the Weather Channel.
Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, sailing from the Port of Palm Beach, has exciting cruise rates for Florida residents and visitors on multiple cruise dates with prices of just $149 for all interior cabins and just $169 for all ocean view cabins. You'll sail on Florida's newest, most flexible, and best Bahamas cruise. Your 2-night cruise will include delicious dining, some of the best live shows at sea, lots of fun, lots of pampering, and an exciting day in the Bahamas. If If you're looking for a longer vacation, add 2 or 4 nights at the all-inclusive, beautiful Grand Lucayan Resort to your cruise. Enjoy spectacular white sand beaches, family fun, fine dining, golf, and so much more. Call 800-814-7100 to book your Bahamas Paradise cruise from just $149 and let the summer vacation fun begin. That's 800-814-7100. 800-814-7100.
Here we go. I told you we're going to bust out of this drought.
Keep watching with us this morning because we're all watching history together.
Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds. Low 74. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Friday, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. High 85. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, the Lone Star State of Texas continues to struggle with flooding and its aftermath. In Kingwood, not too far from Houston, local media reports that 3 adults and a child had to be rescued from their home. Now, they woke up to a foot of water inside their home because of the flooding along the San Jacinto River. In Wharton, Texas, 60 miles southwest of Houston, the mayor urged residents of 300 homes in the city's west side to voluntarily evacuate as the Jacinto River continues to rise. And in Horseshoe Bend, Texas, residents of 250 homes faced a voluntary evacuation request as the Brazos River rose over a foot over, of course, flood stage. So far, there are no reports of flooded homes in the Parker County community just west of Fort Worth. Now, in the state of Texas, officials are asking residents of flood-prone areas along the Brazos River in Parker County to evacuate. About 300 structures along the river are expected to be threatened by floodwaters when the river starts to crest. Most residents are packing up to leave. However, some are just choosing to secure their belongings as they believe may be overwhelmed by floodwaters but are hoping for the best. Paul?
Well, rain and lots of it created a lot of flood troubles. And we heard you say, again, it's the 3rd wettest month here, or the 9th wettest month there. Let's put all this rain in better perspective for you by taking a look at this kind of calendar of the month of May for the city of Austin. If you actually count these up, the first 4 days, rain-free. Then the rain started, and it came every single day up until yesterday. We had, again, if you don't count the first 4 days with no rain, we only had 4 days out of 24 days without rain here for the overall 8 of 27 days had rain in this month of May in Austin. And again, a bunch of rain. In terms of setting, 16.72, the wettest month on record. Again, it's not just there in Austin, across much of Texas, the Southern Plains, even now Arkansas, over 18 inches of rain just this month alone. That has definitely done some numbers here, shattering some of these old records. Some go back 70 years in terms of the last time we've had almost as much rain as we've seen this month so far in May. Viv?
Okay, thanks very much, Paul. Well, we know that you're sick of all this rain, so I do have some good news to report. A change in the overall pattern is on the way, in particular Oklahoma City. I mean, not in the short term, but definitely in the long term. As you can see, starting the weekend, we'll have some clouds on Saturday, but we don't think that these will be the rain-making clouds, and actually a little more sun on Sunday, mostly sunny on Monday and Tuesday, and then just partly sunny on Wednesday, but no rain in the forecast after after we wrap up this week in the OKC area, because the overall pattern does change. Again, this is the recent pattern when we've had the trough across the west and the big ridge over the east, and that has just set the stage for significant flooding rains right in the heart of the country. But the upper air pattern is going to change as we have more of a ridge building over the Central Plains, and that indicates a drier scenario. Back to you, Paul.
Well, we've shown you a lot of wild videos since storms started dumping flooding rain over the Southern Plains. What I'm about to show you is one of the wildest yet. Check this out. This is actually inside a house. You can see the rain-swollen Blanco River rushing right into it, right through the sliding glass door. Yeah, and the water came in and basically took everything on that first floor and was swirling it around, a muddy mess, and some of it actually was drawn back out of the house as well. And it is pretty incredible. You can actually hear, if you see the raw video, you can hear the cries and just the fear on this woman's voice when she's looking down from the second story there, looking at what's happening on the ground floor of that house. It is definitely a chilling video to watch. The good news is that family is safe tonight.
Sometimes the passage from boy to man flows directly through the oil aisle at the local AutoZone. And with this change of oil, Rick's engine wasn't the only thing that was running a bit cooler. It's called The Zone, and we'll help get you there.
Never a good day for a bad battery. Get a Duralast battery, only at AutoZone.
The ultimate do-over for wood and concrete. Don't replace, resurface. Behr Premium Deck Over, exclusively at the Home Depot.
Shopping online is as easy as it gets. Wouldn't it be great if hiring plumbers, carpenters, and even piano tuners were just as simple? Thanks to Angie's List, now it is. Start shopping online from a list of top-rated providers.
Visit angieslist.com today.
Welcome back. Big news from Beverly Hills. Celebrity plastic surgeon Dr. Andrew Ordon has discovered an anti-aging breakthrough called Fill and Freeze, and he's giving away 1 million bottles free.
I've spent nearly 30 years looking for an effective, instant breakthrough to reduce the appearance of wrinkles that can be applied topically instead of with surgery or invasive medical techniques. And I finally found it with Derm Exclusives Fill and Freeze.
Wow, I'm young again. I don't feel like an old lady. Lines are gone.
Oh my God. Wow. I can't believe it. It looks really good. It gives you a whole new confidence.
It definitely took 10 years off. If I went to a dermatologist here in the city, I would pay $300-400 for this.
I know you're wondering what Derm Exclusive can do for you. Well, you don't have to wonder. You can order it right now and try it for yourself absolutely risk-free. And here's how.
Call now during this special direct-to-consumer offer and you won't pay $120. Today, you can get your own instant results with Fill and Freeze for only $59. But that's not all. Today, we're taking another $20 off, so now you can get this instant wrinkle-removing miracle for the low price of only $39.95. And as part of our 1 million bottle giveaway, Dr. Ordon is including a second $60 bottle of Fill and Freeze free. That's nearly $120 of Fill and Freeze for only $39.95. Dr. Ordon will even include his Micro-Pure resurfacing pads, intensive repair serum, and collagen lift moisturizer, a $200 value free. Order now and we'll even upgrade your order to express delivery. That's a $15 value free. Plus, you even get to try it risk-free for 30 days with our money-back guarantee. But you must call to order. Call 1-800-730-7432. That's 1-800-730-7432. Order now.
Glad you're with us right here on AMHQ. The whole team.
Right? Either go all in or just tap out.
Here we go. I told you, we're going to bust out of this drought.
As we say, keep watching with us this morning because we're all watching history happen together.
Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds, low 74. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Friday, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. High 85. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weather Channel's most watched original program,
and it just hit us,
is back.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. Take a look at this time-lapse video of yesterday's thunderstorms over eastern Pennsylvania. Thunderstorms and winds late yesterday afternoon were strong enough to blow down trees just west of Reading and southwards, just south towards Philadelphia as well. Thanks for staying with us. It's 1:30 now. I'm Paul Goodlow.
And I'm Vivian Brown. Now, let's talk more about those storms because we will. The good news is that they are pushing east, and we'll have details on that in just a minute. But first, more on the southern plains, taking an absolute pounding with thunderstorms, the heavy rain, the hailstones, the flooding.
Yeah, look at what people in this Fort Worth neighborhood have been faced with here. This was just before last night's storms, with National Weather Service reporting 2.81 inches of rain last night in nearby Benbrook. Also last night, people reporting water up to their car doors just north of the city there. And it's a horrible sight.
Meanwhile, in Nebraska, flash flooding turning this road into a river, a muddy river at that. This is in a small town in the southwestern corner of the state, and you can see one car trapped by the muddy waters. One person reported more than 6 inches of water on the road. There were also reports of baseball-sized hailstones in the area yesterday. Paul?
Seeing storms right now popping up in a lot of areas across the Northeast. Haven't dealt with a lot of storms. Let's go to the lab now and Dr. Greg Postel. Again, Dr. Postel, a severe thunderstorm watch up, including New York City.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Paul. We do have some severe weather expected in the Northeast and even ongoing as well. But also in the plains, we've got some big storms out there, and they will be also hail and high wind producers with maybe even the chance of a tornado. So let's have a look at the satellite pictures because we can see a lot, right? When you look at the motions and the high altitudes of the atmosphere, there is a big story out here, and it's more rain across the Central Plains where they've been oh so devastated really in recent weeks and months for that matter. Part of that has to do with the shape of the jet stream out that way, and I can draw it. You can almost sort of outline it by these water vapor particles really moving around in a motion like that with the trough in the west and the ridge in the east. That is a setup really for all the storminess in the middle part of the country, and today is no exception. Because if you look at these trajectories, or the streamlines really, in fact, where this airflow is coming from at low altitudes, underneath that dip in the jet stream, these airflows are coming out of the subtropics and bringing a lot of water content northward into the southern plains. That area shaded in green, that's where the highest water content is. In fact, and even in the yellows and reds. But still, you can just outline these streamlines moving through here. Air parcels are coming in around like that and getting into the plains and being lifted as that upper level energy moves in. And so that is one of the reasons why we've seen a lot of storminess. And with those humid air parcels moving northward into the southern plains, that is increasing the instability because it's not just the warmth, it's also the humidity. That adds to the buoyancy that is available for the thunderstorms to tap. So in that area shaded in yellow, that's where today the greatest instability, or CAPE, which is called convective available potential energy, that's where it will be. And alongside that, or sort of juxtaposed with that, we've got some pretty strong mid-altitude winds moving through. That's going to help those storms rotate, because if you have those wind shears and they get tilted in the updrafts, you can get rotating storms, supercells they're called, and also the possibility of some tornadoes. So that's the area that we'll be watching out today as we move forward. And you can see in this sort of picture now, this is the latest image that we've got, there is a secondary swirly right out in here inside of the bigger dip in the jet stream that is going to be rotating its way out across the plains, and that will reinitiate thunderstorm activity that way. So look at what the forecasts are showing. Beginning about mid-afternoon, new thunderstorms popping up right across Oklahoma, and you can see, watch out from Oklahoma City down I-35. But even later than that, as you go towards 8, 9 o'clock tonight, some pretty big storms lining up across Texas that will be moving eastward. And I think the biggest threat with this would be high winds and big hail as well. So it's going to be another stormy night across Texas, unfortunately, yet again. But the good news is down the road, things should begin to dry out as an upper edge builds in, and we should get a break, at least a little bit, from all the precipitation we've had lately. Back to you in the studio.
Okay, we definitely need a break. I don't care how little it is. Thanks very much, Dr. Postel. Well, 9 straight days of heavy rain for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And as you can imagine, it's leaving behind quite an extensive mess.
Our Dave Malkoff is in the Dallas area with a unique look at how crews are assessing the damage associated with this historic flooding.
Searching a flood disaster this big takes more than ground troops.
I'm Steve Robertson. I'm a member of the Civil Air Patrol.
Arnold Luthart. I'm one of the pilots for Civil Air Patrol.
Up here in tiny planes, there's an unpaid volunteer Air Force.
Commercial pilots, private pilots. We have members who aren't pilots at all.
So how do 2 retired pilots help those heavily trained members of Texas Task Force 1 on the ground? Well, even though they're experts at urban search and rescue, down here in the mud, there's limited, if any, cell phone service.
They're having a little trouble communicating. They're handheld radios, which have line of sight, limited range.
The small planes fly in circles over the search zone, boosting rescue radio power below.
These are the antennas.
Without the repeater antenna on the Cessna's belly, Texas Task Force 1 can't talk to home base.
I suspect that kind of communication help could save lives, too. Oh, absolutely.
From the air, you start to get the whole picture. Which dams are most at risk?
Looks like the spillway is pretty much wide open. That is a lot of water.
You see flooded fields no one's reported yet, even airports.
This is part of the runway that's underwater here. That's correct. The south end of the runway, maybe the southern third of the runway. Normally, there would be a third member of the crew, a photographer, sitting here exactly where I am sitting, with the camera sticking out of that window right back there. They would take thousands of pictures of those riverbeds and sending them down to an analysis team in Austin from the University of Texas.
I can tell you that there's more water than I've seen in the whole 25 years I've lived here.
For every member, some 60,000 nationwide, this job's personal.
We have members who live in that area that were impacted by the flooding disaster.
This is how Texans stretch a hand to Texans from 5,000 feet above the flood.
Proud to be able to serve.
All right, we're keeping you updated, of course, on all of the water we have over the central part of the country. But in the Northeast, we're kind of shifting our attention a little bit because the threat of severe weather, the Storm Prediction Center has issued this watch. And of course, a watch means that severe weather is possible. The atmosphere is kind of priming itself for the thunderstorm activity later on. From interior Maine all the way down to New York City, you're included in the Hartford area, just outside of Boston, certainly on the western side, up to Concord, New Hampshire, most of the state of New Hampshire, all the way into the state of Maine. So please keep an eye to the sky if you live across the northeastern corridor, including, again, New York City. Later on this afternoon, within the next couple of hours, we'll begin to see those thunderstorms fire, and they could be a factor throughout the rest of the afternoon. Here's a look at the future radar. Again, we're anticipating those individual thunderstorms to develop, and then eventually now they're going to kind of push on off the shoreline here, and drier, much more stable air will push in across the Northeast. But nonetheless, we'll continue to monitor it for the afternoon for you, certainly right here on the Weather Channel. Back to you, Paul.
Well, right now we want to take you to Florida, where we have different water issues we're dealing with here. This is a live look from New Smyrna Beach, and the big concern here is for rip currents as well. Again, there's been a persistently easterly flow. It's been this way since this past weekend. In fact, hundreds of people have had to be rescued from the water alone just because of the rip current risk. Again, the easterly winds continue, and so does that rip current risk. We'll have much more on the risk for the rip currents, as well as the risk for severe weather and more rain and flood concerns across Texas coming up after your local on the 8s.
today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds, low 74. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Friday, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. High 85. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Seems we've hit a roadblock.
That reminds me. Anyone have occasional constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating?
Yes.
One Phillips Colon Health probiotic cap each day helps defend against occasional digestive issues with 3 types of good bacteria. Live the regular life. Phillips.
Let's do a reality check. Kids will be kids. Dogs will be dogs. So let's get some paint that's more than just paint. Made to stand up to this and look beautiful for years. Let's lose the old marks and messes and stop new ones in their tracks. Let's worry-proof our walls. Let's do this. Right now, get $5 off cans and $20 off buckets of select paints and stains. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Olive Garden's all-new duos are here, but not for long, starting at $11.99. Our most craveable classics like chicken parmesan paired with new tastes to explore, all served with unlimited salad and breadsticks. 4 all-new duos starting at $11.99 at Olive Garden.
There's a big difference between retirement and a secure retirement. Well, you may be standing right in front of the difference between uncertainty and knowing that everything's going to be all right. It's your home. Turning your home's equity into tax-free cash when you need it is a simple way to eliminate your existing monthly mortgage payments, pay off debt, and get you and your family the financial resources you need. It's a loan that your home pays back instead of you making monthly payments, the way you do with a traditional mortgage. If you're 62 or older and own your own home, you may qualify for a government-insured reverse mortgage. Now, we all love our homes. Why not just stay there using a reverse mortgage with AAG? It could be the perfect solution. Call us today to receive a free information pack with no obligation that contains a helpful 3-part guide and DVD. You'll receive a guide to reverse mortgages and how they work, including the many consumer safeguards that protect you and your home. Also, our important all-new reverse mortgage retirement planner that explains the many ways a reverse mortgage could provide stability and security for your retirement. We then add a guide filled with information for children and loved ones. It's got what you need to know about reverse mortgages and how they can play a vital role in your retirement plans.
Call 1-800-816-8185 to receive our all-new information pack, all absolutely free with no obligation. Call 1-800-816-8185. That's 1-800-816-8185.
Real retirement security makes all the difference. Find out more about what a reverse mortgage can do for you.
Call 1-800-816-8185 to receive our all-new information pack, all absolutely free with no obligation. Call 1-800-816-8185. That's 1-800-816-8185.
AAG, the best advice for a better life.
Introducing Ring, the world's most advanced doorbell.
Hello? Delivery for Aaron Parker? Thanks, you can leave it at the door.
Ring streams HD video and audio to smartphones and tablets. With dual power options, you can install Ring in just minutes. And Ring's real-time motion alerts are the perfect way to monitor your home. Convenience, monitoring, security. Order your Ring video doorbell today at ring.com.
In the summertime, when the weather is fine, you can stretch right up into the sky. When it's vacation time, you got MSC Cruises on your mind. Have a drink, relax, you're gonna have a good time. Sail along with us at MSC, see your fabulous show and be happy.
Cruise the world with MSC Cruises. Call your travel agent or visit msccruises.com.
Well, welcome back to Weather Center Live with NOAA's hurricane outlook just released yesterday. People are already finally starting to take notice.
Yeah, but do businesses really consider the hurricane forecast when planning for the season ahead? Our own Stephanie Abrams sat down with business weather expert Paul Walsh to find out.
In today's edition of Forecast Factor, hurricane season got to an early start with Ana in the first week of May, and that's got the country's attention along with businesses. Business weather expert Paul Walsh is here to break down all the information we need to know. Good morning to you, Paul. Good
morning.
Okay, so how does a preseason storm like Ana affect business?
Well, if it's a really early storm and it's hitting a large marketplace where there's a large population of people, there'll be a huge surge, a bigger surge than you would normally expect. Ana itself was so small and affected such a small amount of people, it didn't really affect businesses very much, but I think for all of us, it is a wake-up call.
Yeah, I mean, it was still Mother's Day, you know, and there's still events going on, but it wasn't the heart of the summer when it is
and it's
insane.
a very small population center. But I think, I think the big message here is that Mother Nature follows no seasonal forecasts, and so we need to be very careful.
Speaking of the seasonal forecast, I can't stand the hurricane season forecast. People who watch, you know why. We can get into another time. But do the businesses follow the numbers that are put out? Oh, we're going to have 15 hurricanes. We have to do they follow that?
Not really, especially the really smart ones, because just like us, when they prepare for hurricane season, they don't do it based on the forecasted number of storms. They do it based on what typically happens. And this year in particular, I think the impact of a storm or the threat of a storm is going to be bigger than ever, especially in Florida, because there's not been a storm in Florida in, what, 9 or 10 years, a really big storm, and there's about 1 million people now living in Florida that have never experienced a hurricane.
No, they still might not, even though this year.
They might not, but you still have to look at the statistics and you have to look at the odds, and they've been basically dodging a bullet for 9 years. So what I'm telling people and businesses as well is to be more prepared this year, not less prepared.
Okay, so speaking of that, what should the average person do, financial-wise, when it comes to, this hurricane season?
From a planning perspective, every year, but this year in particular, don't believe the long-range forecast. I know that's heresy, but in this case, we cannot predict where a storm is going to go, so you should expect that you're going to have the average number of storms hitting the coast, so you should be ready. Businesses do that. We all should be doing that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can't stand this forecast because we don't know how big they're going to be, where exactly they're going to hit. It doesn't give you any added information. They could all stay out to sea.
And there's a negative aspect, too, because of the press around a quiet season. People tend to become complacent.
Yeah. All right. Paul, thank you very much for that. For more business and weather news, check out forecastfactor.weather.com. Al?
And you want to watch the Weather Channel this upcoming Sunday because our special show, Weather Geeks, will preview the upcoming hurricane season. And we're going to let you know how could El Nino influence the tropical season? Could we be entering into a hurricane drought? Plus, exploring the science behind wild weather, the phenomena. Can a tornado form indoors? And a mysterious South American lightning storm that can last for months. Back-to-back episodes of Weather Geeks. That, again, is this Sunday at noon Eastern Time, right here on the Weather Channel. Paul?
The breaking weather news here. Still have a new tornado watch has just been issued. Areas of western Texas into New Mexico. Does include the Big Bend area as well as San Angelo and Midland and Lubbock as well. That goes until 8 o'clock Central Time. Again, that's for later on today. You're already seeing a few storms pop up there. They can go severe. Hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes not out of the question across areas of western Texas. All right, that's through today. Let's talk about the next 7 days quickly in terms of our 7-day forecast. We'll start you off with tomorrow, Friday, end of the week. Still watching thunderstorms from Texas, Oklahoma into Kansas, Missouri, even on towards St. Louis and parts of downstate Illinois. Saturday, the rain threat pushes eastward into the Ohio Valley, the interior of the Northeast, and a few pop-up storms here across areas of Florida. Then on towards Sunday, more wet weather, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, and New England stretching back through Texas. A few scattered showers out there towards areas of Oregon. And then back to work and school on Monday for many across the Northeast. Some scattered showers in the afternoon. The sultry, steamy days, summer-like weather envelops the south and southeast with afternoon thunderstorms in towards Tuesday and Wednesday of next week.
Now everyone who uses catheters can get a better catheter with Liberator Medical's free catheter sample pack. These new catheters are better than ever, easier to use, more convenient, comfortable, virtually pain-free. Don't wait. Call now and get your free catheter sample pack. There's the all-new compact catheter for women, pre-lubricated, no drips, no mess, fits in your purse. The self-lubricated catheter. It lubricates itself in the package. Comfortable, no mess. The closed system catheter, pre-lubricated with its own collection bag, proven to reduce UTIs. The discreet pocket catheter, curved to fit in your pocket to go anywhere. The polished eyelet catheter for micro-smooth comfort, reduces friction and pain. Call now. We'll also bill Medicare and your insurance for you. Call for your free catheter sample pack with free shipping. Call Liberator Medical.
Call 1-800-601-3450. That's 1-800-601-3450.
Where you get your weather matters.
This is a large and dangerous tornado.
That's why we get real local the moment you need it.
We are live in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Florida.
Real accurate.
This is round one of the severe storms that are coming through.
From real experts on the ground.
That is a gust front for you right there in Dusty, Texas. Wow.
Where you get your weather matters.
This is basically what makes the Weather Channel
Keep the Weather Channel on. Here at the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel is out in full force today.
Only the Weather Channel.
Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds. Low 74. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Friday, partly cloudy, chance of a thunderstorm. High 85. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Flour-pressed soap, homemade hot sauce, or those are. Well, we're glad handcrafted is finally cool. Because at Firestone Complete Auto Care, we've been handcrafting since 1926. Robots might build cars, but it takes human hands to keep them running right. And that's a guarantee, backed by our fixed right promise. Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Firestone Complete Auto Care. Maintenance, repairs, tires. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Americans, 83% try to eat healthy, yet up to 90% fall short in getting key nutrients from food alone. Let's do more. Add one-a-day women's gummies, complete with key nutrients we may need, plus it supports bone health with calcium and vitamin D. One-a-day VitaCraves gummies.
Devour food that's good for you. The same way you devour food that's not good for you.
The most legendary name in paint is now at Lowe's.
What is his name?
Oh, it's HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams.
Is he more famous than me?
It's the name everyone wants on their wall.
Well, now there's room for all of us.
Sure.
Back to the happy tree?
But nothing looks better on ceilings either.
Come again?
So if you're looking for the most legendary name in paint... What? I said if you're...
I can't hear
you. Never mind. HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams is now at Lowe's.
Welcome back, Ford. It's great to see you.
Style is important to us, but it's important to him.
Morgan, his groomer, knows how to make him look good. Other dogs just admire
Doing
him.
this like you see dogs are like.
The doggy double take.
Pethood's better with a partner. Now you can book appointments with our groomers online at PetSmart.com.
The FDA issued a public notice to doctors and patients concerning serious injuries caused by transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, and bladder sling. Please call now if you had one of these devices implanted in the last 5 years. You may be entitled to a cash award. If you had a transvaginal mesh, bladder mesh, pelvic sling, or bladder sling in the last 5 years,
please call 1-866-686-7952 now.
You pay your car insurance premium like clockwork, month after month, year after year. Then one night you hydroplane into a ditch. Yeah. Surprise, your insurance company tells you to pay up again. Why pay for insurance if you have to pay even more for using it?
If you have Liberty Mutual Deductible Fund, you could pay no deductible at all.
Sign up to immediately lower your deductible by $100 and keep lowering it $100 annually until it's gone. Then continue to earn that $100 every year. There's no limit to how much you can earn, and this savings applies to every vehicle on your policy. Call 1-844-530-9771 to learn more. Switch to Liberty Mutual and you could save up to $423. Call Liberty Mutual for a free quote today at 1-844-530-9771. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
The Weather Channel's most watched original program, and it just hit us, is back.
This is just the beginning of what's to come.
You are watching the Weather Channel. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Vivian Brown in the lab with Dr. Greg Postell talking about a newly issued severe thunderstorm watch.
Yeah, it includes much of the Northeast, in fact, all of Maine, and does extend far southward into New York City.
Okay.
And here's why, because the atmosphere is starting to percolate a little bit across New England, New York State, and you can see that there's scattered thunderstorms. Some of these guys are severe, Viv, so let's go into some of those and we can show you where we're most concerned about. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings here in Maine, one of them just to the southwest of Bangor. This is for Kennebec, Somerset, and Waldo counties in Maine until 2 o'clock Eastern time. The primary hazard here would be high wind, perhaps up to 60 miles per hour, and some small hail moving eastward. So it looks like this one might slide just to the south of Bangor, but there are others farther to the north that just moved through Greenville, but will be moving across the I-95 corridor there probably in the next hour or so.
Okay, and they're starting to develop a little farther south as well, so let's take you there.
Yeah, let's go just a little bit southeast of Albany, New York. So Berkshire, Columbia, and Rensselaer counties in both New York State and Massachusetts. Watch out for this thunderstorm, which, if you're in these cities, just be prepared for this guy moving through because it's probably got some high winds in there, maybe 50 to 60 miles per hour. Of course, we know a lot of lightning, too, and heavy rain, and maybe some small hail as well. Moving east, accordingly to the Weather Service, at 55 miles per hour.
Oh, that's a fast-moving thunderstorm right there. But again, this whole area is under a severe thunderstorm watch, and it does include the New York City area. So you definitely want to be on guard if you live, say, from New York to the Hartford area, even Boston, certainly the western suburbs officially in this severe thunderstorm watch. And as you mentioned, most of the state of Maine, too.
Right, until 7 o'clock Eastern tonight. And then I think by about 8 or 9 o'clock, everything should be offshore. What's causing this really is a cold front that's moving through, and that should be offshore by late evening, and that will end the severe weather threat in the Northeast, which really extends all the way back down. There'll be some thunderstorms probably in Jersey and Pennsylvania, but they'll be more scattered in nature. You can see how the cold front going hour by hour will push things off the coast, and cooler and drier air will come in its place.
And that cooler and drier air is a much more stable atmosphere, so things will definitely quiet down by tomorrow, but not so much as we head a little farther south.
That's right, a lot farther south in the tropics, Viv. Look, we have Tropical Storm Andres right here. This is in the Pacific Ocean. Things are getting active here, and I have a feeling this is going to be a trend over the next couple of weeks. Very warm water and an atmosphere supportive otherwise of tropical development will be in place here. This is, I think, a lot more intense than what the data is telling us. At least the most recent information from the Hurricane Center has winds at 40, but I have a feeling it's a lot stronger than that based on what we can see on the radar. Moving toward the west, away from the coast of Mexico. That is good news, but watch out for more development out in this region in the Pacific Ocean because you know, there are some signs that it's going to be pretty active out here this hurricane season.
All right, and of course, we will keep everyone updated. Thanks very much, Dr. Postell. All right, back to you, Paul, in the studio.
Thanks, guys. Let's talk about how we use radar as a tool to find where a tornado is. Typically, when you look at the actual basic range of the radar and showing the rain here, we clearly see the hook echo. That's actually where that little inflow notch is in terms of developing the tornado. But sometimes you can't see that so clearly on radar, so we have to look at different forms of the radar. Like you can use velocity mode, storm relative velocity, meaning when you see red, red's going away from the radar, green's going towards the radar, kind of show you how that storm is moving. But if we see green and red close together, very close like this indicates rotation. So again, that's a sign using storm relative velocity in terms of using that to find out where a possible tornado is. And also we look at this, the correlation coefficient. Red, orange is generally the rain, the blues, the greens, generally non-precipitation. So not hail, not raindrops. Sometimes it's debris, and especially if you find this close to the velocity, close to the hook echo, that can give you a good idea that that is where that tornado is located. And unfortunately, sometimes when you have this, we call this a debris signature or a debris ball. That is the worst thing that we can see on radar. Unfortunately, we could see more of this today across the plains. More details on that next.
Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 85. Winds east-northeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, some clouds. Low 74. Winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. .85. Chance of rain, 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.